Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Read a Classic Novel Together. I'm Ash Clifton, and I'm here with my great friend and colleague, Margaret Luongo, who is a professor of creative writing at Miami University. How's it going, Margaret?
It's going all right. How about you? How are you doing?
Hanging in there. It's
Mhm.
very starting to cool off a little bit here in Gainesville, which is amazing.
Oh,
Since
good.
it's
We're getting our second summer here. It's warming up
oh
again.
wow,
Yeah.
oh okay, so you're getting all the heat that we would normally get. So well, that's cool. I think that's good for both of us. So
Yeah. Yes.
But obviously, we're here to discuss the second half of Ursula K. Le Guin's The Dispossessed.
hmm
Um, I think we stopped right about the halfway mark. And I think you had read just a few pages further than me.
Uh-huh. So,
You had read into that scene, that shocking scene.
the party, right?
The party, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a lot to
just
talk about there. What it ha
yeah, there really is.
What did you think?
Well, like you said, it is kind of a shocking scene. This book was written in 1974, and but it feels very current. It feels like it's written about current events.
It really does.
Shavik is at a party, and he's this is one of the many parties he attends by the Uros folk who are always feting him. But he's there with the woman he's become sweet on, who is V or Vey. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
I'll say Vey just for the hell of
Okay.
it. Who is a very magnetic character. She seems very smart, but he's drinking the fizzy water, and everybody's been to college knows what happens when you start drinking the fizzy water and enjoying it a little bit too much. That fizzy water
hmm
hits you hard suddenly,
hmm
and they go off together, and he makes a pass at her, and she kind of laughingly pats him away, and he won't stop, and he basically, in his mind, he can't stop. So, and he basically almost rapes her. So, I mean, I don't know any other way to put it.
I think he does rape her,
Yeah.
if I
Well,
remember correctly.
he doesn't. He ejaculates onto her dress. So, definitely a kind of sexual assault.
It's a
But he
sexual
doesn't.
assault.
He's
Yeah.
too drunk to actually rape her in the standard definition, I would say. But and she afterwards, she's very funny. Her response is pretty funny given the circumstances, because he passes out, and the narrative goes into the point of view of the guys who come to pick him up, who and it's kind of revealed that how they talk about him when he's not around. They're pissed off that he hasn't finished his work and given them this great super weapon to make Uros the superpower of the universe or whatever, and that all he does is eat and drink and hang out with whatever. So that scene works in many levels, but there is the matter of how do you process this scene, because he is the hero of the book. He is a very sympathetic character.
Right. And you kind of wonder, I mean, that was a real low moment for him.
Yeah.
But he's like this fish out of water. He
Yeah.
has all this stuff that he doesn't have on his home planet, fizzy water. And
The demon fizzy water.
Yeah, the demon fizzy water. And the women are different,
Yeah.
the way they dress and even their role in society, like
Definitely. Yeah.
they're othered, they're like a different they're a subspecies or something almost in the way they're treated.
Objectified.
They are absolutely objectified. But so what is Le Guin trying to get us to see? Like, is it inevitable in this situation that someone would treat a woman like this? Is it the culture? And shouldn't someone be able to resist? Like, Shevik would never treat a woman on his planet like this.
Right. Yeah, Tok'ra he would never treat like that. So
right.
I had well, I mean, if I had two reactions to it, I had two interpretations of it, which go together. They're not exclusive, but one is that, as you say, he's not equipped to. He doesn't understand flirtation. she's been flirting with him pretty hard, and actually it's pretty clear she's setting up an affair with him. She's open to that, but he doesn't get that at all. He thinks she wants to have sex, so he's going to push it to the limit, and that's one half of it, way I can justify it. The other half is, like you say, he's gone native. He's kind of started to absorb the values of these guys around him, that they see a woman they want, and if you get them alone, obviously she wants it, you gotta do it. So yeah, like you said, going native, and also he's not equipped to navigate this kind of world of of when are we really going to do it, when are we not really going to do it, and he's incredibly drunk, which is not an excuse, but
right,
it helps explain some things. He's not thinking clearly at all. He's passing out drunk, actually, because he does indeed pass out. So I don't know. What did you think? Is that enough, or is that still not sufficient to?
No, I agree with all of that. I mean, it's still wrong, but you can see why he did it. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, and that happens in our world now too. I mean, I don't know what kind of talks your father had with you, but mine was saying things like, it depends. I mean, it really matters who you hang out with, because you're judged by the people you hang out with. And in his case, like, he's surrounded by, or he's in this culture where you just take what you want, like you deserve it, like you're entitled to it. And I think my father also said, like, nothing good happens after 11 o'clock at night, so you should just come home.
That's good advice.
I know. Maybe you got different advice, but
nothing good ever happens after 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I would say for me, it's like nothing good happens after 8 o'clock. You should definitely be in bed by 8:30.
I'm asleep by 8 o'clock. I'm into sleep cycle number 1.
Yeah.
Deep into it. I'm not much of a threat after about 7:30, frankly. So, but yeah, I mean, to his credit, he feels, agonizingly guilty afterwards. I mean, there's a great line somewhere in there. He says, "Shame is a revelation." And it's like, at that moment, that's this horrible thing that he's done triggers him to take the next step in escaping this cage this gilded cage he's in, and seeking out these revolutionaries in this other place. And that starts the second half of the book, I guess the third act of the book, which is pretty good, I thought. I mean, he risks his life to get out of there, and he ends up literally almost getting killed eventually. I can't remember exactly how he ends up in, what's the city, Thu?
Yeah. I can't remember either.
I think it's Thu.
Does he get somebody to take him there, and he's part of a protest, I think?
Yeah, he convinces one of the servants in his mansion or whatever to smuggle him out and to get him there somehow. And another, lower class guy, working class guy, smuggles him into this city. And he finds himself, like, he gives a speech or something, doesn't he? And it ignites this huge protest, and the army cracks down, and totally nothing to do with what's going on today in our world, but it lets the neo-Nazi guys from Uros crack down. Or I guess they're in Thu. Thu is still a right-wing city, but and he ends up having to hide out with this guy who's been shot or stabbed. I can't remember.
Yeah. I don't know either, but he dies, right?
Yeah, he's mortally wounded.
Yeah.
I love that part where Shevik asks him, maybe we should just surrender. And the guy says, no, they'll shoot us. And then I guess, and that also seems to teach Shevik something. This poor guy dying in front of him, it's kind of, he's even more disillusioned than he was by the way he was treated, the gilded cage and everything. So it's like these two horrible things happen to him very close together in the book. He has this horrible, sexual assault with Vay, and then he watches this poor guy get killed, die. And then, as I recall, he goes into the embassy, the Earth embassy.
Right.
And we get that cool scene with the ambassador from Earth, and which feels like the most pivotal scene in the book to me. I mean, in terms of in that act anyway, it's she tells him that she's very skeptical of him and what he's doing there, but it's because she doesn't know anything about Anaris, I guess, because they don't have an embassy there. Anaris doesn't let anybody land there, except for the merchant guys. So, all she knows about Anaris, she gets from Uros. And at the same time, Shevek doesn't know anything about Earth. And I thought it was a very cool, surprising scene, how they get these different points of view. And especially when I think her name is Kang, the ambassador.
Sure. Yeah, I don't remember. I'm so sorry.
They don't tell us for a long time. She's just the ambassador, but I think at some point her name comes out. But she tells him that, Earth apparently is like a ecological ruin at this point. It's even worse than Anaris in some ways. It's just like this husk of a world. And that most people from Earth think Uros is a paradise. It's like Hawaii, it's like the most amazing place. And sure, it's got inequality and, but she kind of shrugs it off and says, it's not as bad as Earth in a lot of ways. So, again, Shevek's eyes are open, that maybe, I don't know. What did you think?
Well, a couple of things, like when his companion is killed, and you noticed that that kind of propels him, forward to get out of there,
right,
even more urgently. I think he's starting to realize that his values could never survive there, and the person he wants to maintain, like his integrity, would never survive that planet. I mean, it is kind of shocking how quickly his values were kind of smothered by all of this abundance and this attitude of entitlement. Like, of course, he was entitled to all of this treatment and all of these, the food and the things and the women. So I think he recognizes that his values can't survive that place. But when you were talking about Anaris and Uros and Earth, I kind of got this feeling of like different brands of totalitarianism, like Anaris not letting anybody land there except for the exchange of goods, what was necessary for them to survive. And they, in order to maintain their values, they have to say, like, we are this and we are not any of those other things. So it is its own kind of nationalism, I suppose. But it seems like it's for good, like everybody is pretty much equally disadvantaged there. There doesn't seem to be a ruling class, although that one guy whose name I can't remember seems to have power over Shevek.
Like the bull,
can shut down his intellectual work. So there's that, and Earth sounds like it's ruined. And there's some other planets and races and cultures referenced that made it sound like they were all like very separate. So in Uros, I can't remember if it is diverse in any other way other than class. Like, is it all the same peoples, or I don't know if
I don't think we know.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, there are two countries. So
right. I forgot about that.
There's Io and then there's Thu.
Guess.
Maybe I'm misremembering, but
no,
one is So they have their own kind of like there's lots of Hegelian opposites in this
Mm,
book, like,
mhm,
there's capitalism and communism, more or less, the two moons, and there's patriarchy and major, all that stuff. And
mhm.
even on Earth, there's like a dichotomy, two opposites, two antitheses on that planet. But yeah, I thought that scene with the ambassador was super important because to me the big theme of the book is, how do you resolve these two impulses in people, like one is the capitalist impulse that we understand, the hierarchical impulse, and the other is kind of the libertarian super anarchist impulse,
Mhm.
which doesn't really work either. I think even in her vision, it doesn't completely work. Like you say, there's that poor, playwright who they talk about who
Mhm.
has basically been ostracized out to the desert because, there's no room really for art and on
Right.
Anaris, not in the sense that we think of it. Um, so and if you don't resolve those differences, you get Earth, which is this, irradiated or ecologically destroyed ruin. So how do you resolve this? And I think Le Guin is kind of saying the only way you can do it is through cross pollination. As
Mm.
like a brave people like Shevik. That the people on Earth didn't have anybody to reach out to learn from, but Shevik is bringing knowledge from Anaris to Urus, and he's presumably going to take some knowledge from Urus back to Anaris, and he gives his discovery to the Hanes,
Mhm.
to the Federation of Planets or whatever it is, that
Mhm.
the ambassador represents. So, like, this is his way of resolving it, is to go
Yeah.
the third way to find the middle road, and 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 to me, it worked. To me, it
Mhm.
worked as a book. It worked dramatically, and that was to me a believable,
Mhm.
a satisfying resolution, in it to the
Yeah.
story.
Yeah. I mean, he's sharing that knowledge. I mean, it's
Mhm.
theoretical, but could
Right,
have applications, practical applications. But
right,
there's the gesture of sharing that really
right.
is most important. It shows a kind of wisdom, which
Hmm.
is in some ways even better than the
Right,
knowledge, but it's convincing. It's he
yeah,
shared something valuable,
right,
so that makes the sharing even more impressive or believable or something. It's not an empty gesture of
right,
of unity. It's an acknowledgement
mhm,
that we're all equal and deserving. And
right. Yeah, it's
uh,
it's uh, it's not propertarian, as he would put it. He
yes,
doesn't keep it.
it's not transactional.
Right, right.
Yeah,
And he gives it away to everybody,
yeah.
which is, I guess, what like Oppenheimer wanted to do with nuclear energy. He wanted to give it to all the world's
Hmm.
nations, but we know how that worked out.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, maybe, just hearing you talk about it makes me think that, the book doesn't really resolve what he's going to bring back from Urus. I mean, he's clearly dissatisfied with, the bullshit that goes on Anaris,
Hmm.
Sabul and people like him, and this flattening effect of let's
Yeah.
face it, it's communism. He called, the it's called communism in the book. That's what the
Mhm.
ambassador calls it. Um,
But
there's
allegedly
some
without that central
right
force.
without the fascist dogma, or the sadism of totalitarianism. Yeah, but it still has a dehumanizing effect, I guess.
Mhm.
And but it's not really clear what what he admires. At least I don't remember what he admires most
Mm.
about Urus, um, except that it is so productive. It's like I remember reading that Boris Yeltsin once, before he became president of Russia, he came to New York, and he was
Mhm.
an engineer, and he was just amazed at these buildings. They were so
Mhm.
huge, so towering. And it was just the same kind of thing. He comes from a communist society where everybody gets fed in theory, but there's no
Mhm.
towering monuments of technology, or
Mhm.
so maybe that's what he's going to bring back, is this idea that you have to loosen things up a bit. You have to acknowledge that hierarchy is going to happen somehow. And, and maybe you can't, but
maybe you can correct for it.
Maybe. Yeah.
Somehow. Well, when you said it's, the flattening effect and the dehumanization, it made me wonder if it was more decentering the individual. Of course it is, but then it goes too far,
right,
I think is what you're saying. So maybe they can, whatever he brings back can refine that.
Yeah, that's the hope, right?
Yeah.
Somehow. I don't know if she ever wrote a sequel about an RS or Urus, but if you ever teach this, or if one were to ever teach this book in a class, I think a great essay question would be, which planet would you rather live on, an RS or Urus? And I'm torn. I think it would probably be Urus, to be honest.
Yeah.
Let's face it, I live on Urus.
It's what you're
Florida,
used to. Yeah.
Florida is Urus.
Yeah.
We have huge inequality. We have a lot of beautiful things, a lot of wealthy people. But there's so much. You can't get a doctor's appointment. You can't pay for health insurance. You can't insure your house. If you get sick, you end up living on the street. Or living in your car. So I don't know. It's I really like that the book doesn't answer that question. If it did, it wouldn't be literature, right? It would be something else. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I mean, this is, I think, the third book of hers I've read, and this is probably my favorite so far.
Which I really enjoyed it too. It's my first of hers. Which one would you recommend that I read next?
Well, The Left Hand of Darkness is really good, but it's very similar to this one. So it might almost feel like it's in the same universe, different planet, but that would probably be the one that I would suggest. And but she's also got this fantasy series called the Earthsea, A Wizard of Earthsea. It's really good. I think it's technically written for young adults, but it didn't feel that way to me. Might have been written for young adults in the 70s, but today it would be adult fiction.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, did that sound proprietarian, or that's probably a
no? It sounded like it might be an accurate assessment.
It's very well written, and fantasy is so huge right now that and there's so much horrible fantasy fiction.
I
mean, I've just dabbled. I'm not going to name names, but some of the best-selling people out there in fantasy, their books are literally unreadable. I cannot read them. I think I've told you about this. But hers is good. Hers is the gold standard of fantasy.
Okay, so if I'm going to find any fantasy that I enjoy, it's going to be her series.
Probably. Or that book, Piranesi, that I've talked about. Like that Lady Clark. I can't remember her name, but that's an extremely good fantasy novel. It's almost more like magical realism than fantasy, but heck, I'm gonna have to look it up here on my other tab. But that's one of the best. That's one of my favorite books in a long time. Just general. Susanna Clark.
Right. Do you remember when it was written?
It came out about, I want to say, like 5 or 10 years ago. It's not that old.
All right.
She was famous for her first book, and then I believe she was ill for a while, and she didn't write a second one for a while. But then she came out with this, and it's really good.
I feel like I've heard of her. So remember at the beginning of the book when Shevik first sees Urus, and it's beautiful, and he, like, all of his cells react to it. He feels, it seems like he's coming to his home planet, which in a way he is. He's never been there, but it's the home of his species,
Right.
But then when he's on the ship coming back to Anaris, he's in, a ship that it feels like home. The inside is cozy. It's very human. And that was such a nice contrast. I didn't remember that until I went back and I was rereading this chapter before our
Right.
call. And I thought, oh, that just sounds really nice. It is like home, and it's, safe and made for
Mhm.
individual living,
Right.
it's human or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah. So,
And he's going home.
and he's going home. Yeah, for real. He is going home.
Yeah, you're right. I'd forgotten about that too. That's a great echo of that first scene, that he sees, he sees Anaris for its goodness now.
Mhm. And
Even though,
the last two sentences, but he had not brought anything. His hands were empty as they had always been.
right.
That's a beautiful reminder that we're not entitled to any of that stuff
Right.
that we grasp onto.
Right. He hasn't even brought a gift for his daughter.
Oh,
But that's kind of what I was getting at. You made me think about, has he brought anything back? Has he brought any knowledge back? Has he brought any wisdom back?
right.
That's what we were just talking about. I think he
Yeah.
probably has. Otherwise, the book has no meaning. But
Right.
he doesn't spell it out. Should say, and he would enact reforms, when he landed, and or he'd run for president of Anaris.
Yeah.
Nothing that sappy, but clearly he's got to have this whole journey has to have an effect.
Mhm.
So maybe he's like the new Odo, or is that her name?
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Yeah.
He's like Odo 2, it's going to be like Odo phase 2. Odo with capitalism, a little capitalism mixed in,
A little individuality.
Food trucks.
Mixed in.
Food trucks.
Food trucks.
You got to have food trucks. Otherwise, you're living in a communist dystopia. So,
well, yeah, I definitely think it's worth reading.
yeah,
It was a pleasure to read. The writing was terrific.
Yeah, she was really, really good. So, another book that of hers that's famous, which I haven't read, is The Lathe of Heaven. That was made into a movie back in the 70s. It's a pretty good little weird low budget movie, but it's a really cool idea, and I think it's probably still her most famous book, her most successful book in terms of general. That's what she's best known for in the non-sci-fi community. I think The Left Hand of Darkness is probably her most famous book.
Okay.
But this one won the Hugo, the Nebula, and the Locus Awards. So
oh, wow.
This one's no slouch.
Mm-hmm.
She basically got the EGOT of sci-fi.
Oh,
wow. I'm sure there's one more in there that she didn't get, but she pretty much grand slammed it. So, but yeah, it's and I like how the whole idea of possession, like you just said, possession and non-possession, it's in the title. It's also keeps playing throughout the book. I mean, you could probably highlight every instances of when some form of the word possession is used, and I believe King talks about it too, but you can't really get what you're grasping for here. but yeah, it's definitely cool. So now we have to read something else.
We do. Should we go back to the list? Or yeah,
I don't know. Maybe we should talk about it offline.
Oh,
you
for
got
sure.
any ideas?
Not off the top of my head. I'd have to look at our list again.
Right.
But that'll be fun. I look forward to the next one. I don't even remember what's on the list.
I don't either. Talk with the list. We'll just figure it out.
Right. Well, I'm open to anything.
Okay. Well, cool.
Yeah. I enjoy these casual talks. Yes. Yeah. I mean, we'll stick to our rules.
It'd be a modern classic, like last 10 years classic. But,
oh, yeah, sure.
But, or we could, go back to the 18th century again, like we went to the 19th century.
I bet you've already read this, but have you read Tristram Shandy?
I have not. Have
I
you?
haven't either.
You
No,
want to read Tristram Shandy?
I kind of do. Yeah.
Okay,
Say that.
maybe we'll do that. I mean, it's a very famous book. So
Yeah. I bet you've already read Moby Dick. I have not.
I have not read Moby Dick.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Do you
Well,
want to do
that's
Moby
another
Dick?
one on my
Hey,
list.
that's why I started this channel. I haven't read any classics, basically. I mean, I've read comic books and some other crap, and that's pretty much it.
Well, why don't
So
we both look into these two?
yeah,
I mean, there's also Proust, but then we could be reading that until we die,
yeah, and
but
plus,
still worth it.
yeah, I've never read Proust. Oh, Proust.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
that how it's
yeah.
pronounced. Okay,
That guy, yeah.
he's French, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I know he's supposed to be the end all be all, but
Mhm.
I've never read The Animal.
Billy's read all three of these.
Really?
Yes, and I mean, in many ways,
He's better read than I am.
well, me too, in many
Mm.
ways. So,
Mm.
all right, we'll look into these, and then we'll reconvene.
All right, sounds good, Margaret.
All
Well,
right, take
onwards.
care, Ash.
Keep the
Yep,
faith. You too.
you too.
Talk to you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye bye.